Blackfacts.com presents Black Facts Educational Series. The Music of the Civil Rights Movement. Music and singing played a critical role in inspiring, mobilizing, and giving voice to the civil rights movement. The freedom songs are playing a strong and vital role in our struggle, said Martin Luther King, Jr., during the Albany movement. According to Shelton, they give the people new courage and a sense of unity. I think they keep alive a faith, a radiant hope, in the future, particularly in our most trying hours. The evolution of music in the Black freedom struggle reflects the evolution of the movement itself. Calling songs the soul of the movement, King explained in his 1964 book, Why We Can't Wait, that civil rights activists sing the freedom songs today for the same reason the slaves sang them, because we too are in bondage, and the songs add hope to our determination that we shall overcome, black and white together, we shall overcome someday. 1928, 1940s. Songs of Protest. Black Beauty by Duke Ellington. Black Beauty is a 1928 jazz composition by Duke Ellington. According to Ellington scholar A. H. Lawrence, the composition originated as a solo piano piece titled Firewater. After Ellington orchestrated and recorded the tune, he decided the title did not suit the work. He renamed the piece Black Beauty and dedicated it to singer, dancer, and comedian Florence Mills, who had died the previous year. Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday. Strange Fruit is a song written and composed by Abel Meeropol under his pseudonym Lewis Allen, and recorded by Billie Holiday in 1939. The lyrics were drawn from a poem by Meeropol published in 1937. The song protests the lynching of black Americans with lyrics that compare the victims to the fruit of trees. Black, Brown and Beige by Duke Ellington. Black, Brown and Beige is an extended jazz work written by Duke Ellington for his first concert at Carnegie Hall on January 23, 1943. It tells the history of African Americans and was the composer's daring attempt to transform attitudes about race, elevate American jazz music, and challenge America to live up to her founding principles of freedom and equality for all. 1950, 1960s. Desegregation. People Get Ready by The Impressions. People Get Ready is a 1965 single by The Impressions, and the title track from the People Get Ready album. The gospel-influenced track was a Curtis Mayfield composition that displayed the growing sense of social and political awareness in his writing. Ball of Confusion by The Temptations. Ball of Confusion, That's What the World Is Today, is a 1970 hit single for The Temptations. It was released on the Gordy, Motown, label, and written by Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong. The magazine Cashbox said of the song that The Temptations came up with another shocker featuring studio work voltage and the charge of New Temp's lyric power, and another electrifying experience. Jazz. Freedom Suite by Sonny Rollins. Moving Out is a composition by jazz saxophonist Sonny Rollins, and the title track from his 1958 album. He teamed with modern jazz drummer Max Roach and bassist Oscar Pettiford, who was married to actor-singer-activist Abby Lincoln. Of the 6 pieces on the album, Rovi Staff wrote, "It is Freedom Suite, with its stunning stops and starts, extended variations, thematic interludes, and exhilarating denouement that invites the most superlatives. It runs nearly 20 minutes. We Insist." Freedom Now Suite by Max Roach. We Insist. Subtitled Max Roach's Freedom Now Suite, is a jazz album released on Candid Records in 1961. It contains a suite which composer and drummer Max Roach and lyricist Oscar Brown. In 2022, the album was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the United States National Recording Registry as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Freedom Jazz Dance by Eddie Harris. The In Sound is an album by American jazz saxophonist Eddie Harris recorded in 1965 and released on the Atlantic label. The album features Harris's first recording of Freedom Jazz Dance. The piece Freedom Jazz Dance became something of a jazz standard and has been recorded more than 200 times. Folk Music. We Shall Overcome by Pete Seeger. We Shall Overcome is a 1963 album by Pete Seeger. It was recorded live at his concert at Carnegie Hall, New York City, on June 8, 1963, and was released by Columbia Records. It was added to the National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress in 2006, calling it, culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Blowin' in the Wind by Bob Dylan. Blowin' in the Wind is a song written by Bob Dylan in 1962. It was released as a single and included on his album, The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, in 1963. It has been described as a protest song and poses a series of rhetorical questions about peace, war, and freedom. A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. A Change Is Gonna Come is a song released mid-February 1964. The song was inspired by various events in Cooke's life, most prominently when he and his entourage were turned away from a whites-only motel in Louisiana. Cooke felt compelled to write a song that spoke to his struggle and of those around him, and that pertained to the civil rights movement and African Americans. The songs that influenced Martin Luther King Jr. and the nonviolent civil rights movement. Take My Hand, Precious Lord by Mahalia Jackson. Take My Hand, Precious Lord is a gospel song. The lyrics were written by Thomas A. Dorsey, who also adapted the melody. It was Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorite song, and he often invited gospel singer Mahalia Jackson to sing it at civil rights rallies to inspire crowds. At his request, she sang it at his funeral in April 1968. Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around by the Freedom Singers. Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Round is a freedom song based on the spiritual Don't You Let Nobody Turn You Round, and became an American civil rights era anthem. It was sung during demonstrations for civil rights in the United States, including during the Memphis sanitation worker strike in 1967. The song's lyrics are adaptable to situations and locations. Up Above My Head by Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Up Above My Head is a gospel song of traditional origin, first recorded in 1941, as Above My Head I Hear Music in the Air, by the Southern Sons, a vocal group formed by William Langford of the Golden Gate Quartet. The version that is now the best known was recorded in 1947 by Sister Rosetta Tharpe and Marie Knight as a duo. Songs of Protest. Mississippi Goddam by Nina Simone. Mississippi Goddam is a song written and performed by American singer and pianist Nina Simone, who later announced the anthem to be her first civil rights song. It was released in 1964, and the song captures Simone's response to the racially motivated murders of Emmett Till and Medgar Evers in Mississippi. We Shall Not Be Moved by the Freedom Singers. We Shall Not Be Moved, also known as I Shall Not Be Moved, is an African-American slave spiritual, hymn, and protest song dating to the early 19th century American South. Secularly, as We Shall Not Be Moved, it gained popularity as a protest and union song of the civil rights movement. It was performed by the Freedom Singers at the March on Washington in 1963. Laments. I Wish I Knew How It Feels to Be Free by Nina Simone. I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free is a jazz song written by Billy Taylor. Taylor's original version, as I Wish I Knew, was recorded and released in 1963. The song served as an anthem for the civil rights movement in America in the 1960s. A widely played version was recorded by Nina Simone in 1967 on her Silk and Soul album. The Revolution Will Not Be Televised by Gil Scott-Heron. The Revolution Will Not Be Televised is a poem and song by Gil Scott-Heron. Scott-Heron first recorded it for his 1970 album, Small Talk at 125th and Lenox. The song's title was originally a popular slogan among the 1960s Black Power movements in the United States. Black Pride. Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud by James Brown. Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud is a funk song performed by James Brown and written with his bandleader Alfred P. Wee Ellis in 1968. In the song, Brown addresses racism against Black Americans and the need for Black empowerment. He proclaims that we demands a chance to do things for ourselves. Shaft by Isaac Hayes. Shaft is a double album by Isaac Hayes, recorded for Stax Records Enterprise label as the soundtrack LP for Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's 1971 blaxploitation film Shaft. Shaft is Hayes' best-known work and the best-selling LP ever released on a Stax label. In 2014, the album was added to the National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Inner City Blues, Make Me Wanna Holler, by Marvin Gaye. Inner City Blues, Make Me Wanna Holler, often shortened to Inner City Blues, is a song by Marvin Gaye, released as the third and final single, and the climactic song from his 1971 landmark album, What's Going On. Written by Gay and James Nix Jr., the song depicts the ghettos and bleak economic situations of inner-city America, and the emotional effects these have on inhabitants. Uptight, Everything's Alright, by Stevie Wonder. Uptight, Everything's Alright is a 1965 hit single recorded by American singer-songwriter Stevie Wonder for the Tamla, Motown, label. One of his most popular early singles, it was the first hit single Wonder co-wrote. Martin Luther King Jr. was not only conscious of what needed to be done, but he was also aware of how to do it. From the very start he galvanized the arts behind him and used music as a driving force for the movement. As the beat writer William S. Burroughs once wrote, "Artists to my mind are the real architects of change, and not the political legislators who implement change after the fact." Narrated by Timbuktu. To learn more about Black history, visit www.blackfacts.com.